So, welcome everybody, and the ones of us that you see here right now, we've been chatting for a while, so this isn't us just getting together. But for those of you who couldn't attend tonight and you're watching this recorded, it's just as important for you as it is for us to participate in this together. I'm gonna. Anybody have anything they want to say before we get started? Any chitter chatter? Okay. Let me go into share screen mode. Yeah, I've already missed one Zoom. I sure didn't want to miss another one. And sometimes there are things that are just more important. And the kids know that too. Everybody can see, oh, you know what I need to do? I'm sorry, I need to share with sound. Bear with me. Oh, what was that? Now you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so everything tonight is going to be about beliefs because of what you're going to be hearing in the Beyond Your Biology will all tie together. And I thought this was a really great picture that says more than me sitting here and talking for 10 minutes, but our lives are the result of our beliefs. So it's the foundation we live on. We're going to do the Gathering of Friends a little bit different tonight, and I have a reason for that. And we're going to do a little bit on the health games, and then we're going to do something different for today's success story, too. So I've mixed it up a little bit. Let's go to the slideshow from the beginning. And now let's go to the next slide. So in the challenge room, we've been talking about the motivation bursts. And I find them in the challenge, on the challenge wall. They're right there, underneath, start earning your points. But they're also in the points room too. You'll find them there as well. Sometimes they're in either or. They're not in both places. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is that now where it was saying be a goal setter, now it's saying be a fork balancer. So each so apparently is the way I'm getting this is our daily readings are going to be in whatever that week's webinar is about. And I also wanted to talk about change. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And there's many of us in this room that has I'm gonna mute everybody if I can. That has and I don't see how to do it. Anyway, it's just changed from the beginning, from the very big. That first challenge, we didn't even have it up and running all the time. It was down a lot, and we were feeling like everybody was going to get discouraged. But by the end, none of us really wanted to leave the challenge, and that's what created the huddle room, so we could all wait there until the next challenge started. The points that we used to have, would you say there was like 3 times as many as we have now, or just double what we have now? Somebody speak.
At least double.
Yeah.
So now thank you. Now that's a big change, and I like this. And what's important is there. So they have obviously considered people's time and them coming in here, and maybe that was making people leave, and now they've got it down to a science here where it's just a few points, and I like it. Do you guys like that?
I do. Yeah, much better.
Yeah. And
I don't like the fact that they don't have the exercises.
Me either. Yep.
What do you mean the exercises?
I think that they should have the exercises worth points. That helps motivate people to exercise.
They have movement there for points. That is your exercise.
Yeah, but it's not the same as putting a video on there and showing somebody something new that they can do like it was before.
Oh,
it just tells you to put what you did for movement. It's not the same thing as far as I see.
I love that, Dawn, and I think I believe that the videos are still there available on the challenge wall, right?
They are there. You can go and look at them, but they're different than getting points if you did what they are suggesting you do that day.
I know, but since they're not giving you points for reading it, well, I think we probably need to at least remind people where it's at, because we all might be missing it completely just because it's not visible.
Yeah, if you go back to the screen you were just on before, and then under motivation, the past important resources, if you click on that.
Well, let me do that later when we're not in the Zoom and the PowerPoint, okay?
Okay.
You remind me to go back to that, okay?
I probably won't be here, but if I am, I will.
Okay. So I thought this is new, the videos, the heartfelt stories from people, the whole nother approach of how to go about doing this and being successful at it, and you're not alone. Did everybody see all 4 of these videos this week? And does anyone have any comment they want to make about it?
I watched them all.
I thought the lady in creating momentum, I mean, I'm a habitual starter. I lose I lose 10 pounds and gain 10 pounds. I lose 10 pounds and gain 10 pounds. I keep playing around with 10 pounds and I'm a chronic restarter. So she really was speaking to me. There was no doubt about that. And then starting with your why is this important? Not just to look better or lose weight, but what is it that if you were your healthy weight, what would be the things you'd be doing? How is it you would be feeling? I thought that was really good. And then the mirror exercise I didn't do because I felt like it was too much for me. I could see the benefit of it, but I'm not ready to stand in the mirror and have a conversation with myself.
Neither am I.
I don't know how it would turn out.
I love the creating momentum one, and I actually think about that as I'm going throughout my day. And I had watched that, and that was when I had my 4-day procrastination period about mowing my yard. And I thought about her as I was out mowing my yard, because my yard is like essentially a little flat spot and then a hill all around. And so as I was lowering that lawnmower down the hill and pulling it back up, and then I just thought about that, because if I stopped, it was harder to get that lawnmower going again.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that was her point.
yeah. So, and so it just resonated with me.
So I put this over here, your daily readings and videos, so that you can see where it was be a goal setter. And now I know the second video that they're doing is be a fork balancer. I don't know what that's going to be, but these are the webinars that they're doing on Thursdays. And I swear, if you can only go to one, go to that one. I'd love to have you for mine, but what they're doing in these webinars, these are the people who lead in our world. And I'm learning how to talk to people just by listening to them do this for you. And they literally do. They invest their time in getting this message across to all of us because they've seen the changes that it makes in lives. Did anyone in this room not see the webinar last week?
I didn't.
Okay, so they're breaking it up into 6 parts. The first part, be a goal setter, is posted all over the place because I thought it was that good. The people who saw it, do you want to encourage people to watch that themselves and attend the webinar so they're not just hearing it from me? Can y'all make a comment?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was glad that I spent the time to do it, because that's the time of night when I'm usually vegging, but it was well worth my time to watch it. I enjoyed it, and I even stayed on for the health coach part of it, and I learned a lot just as a client from that. So I would encourage you to make time to get to it, or if you don't, definitely watch it, the recording.
Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else?
Yep, I watched it on the recording too in the morning. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I watched the recording. It was good, really good.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anyone else? Tammy, I thought you'd say, oh, we can't hear you. That's why she's not saying anything. So so this one coming up on Thursday is be a fork balance. Then it'll be a mover and a shaker, be in a healthy community, be a Zen sleeper, be a mindful thinker. And by that time, the health games will be over with and we will all be a lot smarter. I thought Tony was going to be here tonight. I wasn't sure, but it didn't matter because this ties into what we were all talking in the very before we started recording, and I realized that in our Zoom last week, not the one that MDC puts on, but we all did a lot of complaining because all of us have had so many different problems going on in our life. And I didn't rewatch it, but I know that we all did a lot of complaining. And I thought about the different ages that are in our room. And Tony's 84, I'm 66, and we have younger people in there. And I'm more aware of how important what we put in our mouth, how much we move, how well we sleep, the stress that we live under makes a difference in the quality of life, because I've had the advantage of sitting here watching Tony grow old gracefully and having Take Shape for Life set the model, and then me learn it through them, that we know better. Both of us know better. And for Tony to get in the condition that he was in meant I wasn't paying attention, number one, and I usually do. But the other morning I walked out in the kitchen, and I've had a hard time getting him to take his supplements. And you'll learn through the angiobiology, they call them complements, not supplements, and I like that. But he was actually looking to take his probiotic, which before it was an argument to where I quit telling him about it. He's taking his fish oil, which you never get. And I just stood back and looked at him, and I said, he's finally going to take care of himself. And I think that's a message to all of us. You know, when you're 84 years old and you go through something that's traumatic as he did, then he came home and he's looking, he's really worried about going to the bathroom. Let me tell you that. He never wants to do that again. But we have talked about what caused this, because we do eat good in our house. And he wasn't drinking his water. He certainly wasn't being mindful. And he certainly wasn't eating healthy. I learned after the fact that him and his son were going places and eating things that Tony normally would not be eating, where he just were eating what I cook. But I think stress might have been the biggest factor. Tony's son, he was separated from his son for 50 years, and his son is back in his life for 5 years now. And you can see their joy right there in that picture. That's why I did that. And he had just spent 3 weeks with him. So, you know, he never once had his mind on himself. He only had his mind on his son. And I think that's what caused him to neglect taking care of himself. And just as that happened to him, some things you can't avoid, but there are a lot of things that we're doing by being together and learning what we're learning so that we can grow old gracefully, not do ourselves harm intentionally. But in order not to do ourselves harm intentionally, we do have to be mindful. And I think if I was going to pick one thing out of there that would have fixed his problem, it would have been to be mindful. We're going to watch the next section in the Beyond Your Biology, and what I have done with our gathering with friends is I have put it after that. And so what I would like, the sentence I would like for each of us to finish when we watch and listen to this, is what I caught from the video is, if you want to have a pencil or something and something that jumps out at you, then we can take it to that next level by having that as our conversation tonight. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Woo!
Okay.
All right with me.
Good.
Yes.
Mm. Okay, here we go. So let's go to Beyond Your Biology. And we're doing the last lesson in the first week. And here we go. Let me see. I know there's somewhere manage participants. I am going to mute all while we're doing this so we can all hear, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You know, genetic predisposition, it's kind of like we're dealt a hand of genetic cards. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but it's up to us how we play them. And more research is demonstrating that there is a tremendous potential for lifestyle choices that we make to modify gene expression. So you're not fated to have a disease just because you have a family history of something. You know, rather you should take that as an opportunity to exercise greater control in the areas that can reduce the expression of that genetic potential. Often, Western medicine treats the symptoms of disease without really addressing the underlying causes. And if you simply treat symptoms, they're going to recur, or the disease process is going to appear in some other form. Often the root causes of disease are not on the physical level. They might be in the mental emotional realm or even the spiritual realm. And this is why a more complete model of medicine is necessary. So I think in order to understand the root causes of disease, it's important to take a very careful medical history to really get to know people as complete human beings and to look at all the factors that might enter into that disease process. You know, wherever we have nerves in the body, we have the potential influence of mind, and that's everywhere. And there's some organ systems where the effects of mental disturbances are more frequently expressed, particularly the skin and the GI tract. I work with a hypnotherapist colleague who says that he thinks all dermatological conditions and all gastrointestinal conditions should first go to hypnotherapists before they go to dermatologists or gastroenterologists. And I've come to believe that. And I think many times it is disorder or imbalance in the mental emotional realm that eventually produces changes in the physical realm. By the way, this is an interesting point of difference between Eastern medical philosophy and Western medical philosophy. In Chinese medicine, there is a belief that illness, it can be divided into two categories called visible disease and invisible disease. And in Chinese medicine, the concept of invisible disease is that this is a disturbance in the energy flow in the body. And that if that's not corrected, eventually it will crystallize into the physical body. So that what we in Western medicine diagnose as early stages of disease based on our physical measurements may in fact be middle or late stages of disease processes that began earlier in ways that we can't detect. Homeostasis comes from Greek roots. It literally means staying in the same place. And this is a general principle of physiology that living organisms want to maintain equilibrium. And if they are disturbed, if an outside force disturbs them, they react against that outside force in order to stay where they're supposed to stay. So if there are outside influences that disturb the temperature, internal temperature of the body reacts in ways to cool itself. If the concentration of some mineral in the blood becomes unbalanced, the body will react in ways to get that back into balance. This is just a general principle. And to me, this is one of the ways you can glimpse the operations of the body's healing system, that it wants to react against disturbances in order to stay in the equilibrium of health. So yes, I think it is very fair to say that our bodies want to be healthy, that this is the normal state of things. And when the body is healthy, everything is working most smoothly and economically. So in a way, it takes less energy and effort to be healthy than it does to not be healthy. One analogy that you look at, if you listen to the way a car engine is running, that when a car engine is out of tune, it's noisy and rough, and that's kind of like a body out of tune, that when things are all in the right way they're supposed to be, it's quiet, you don't notice the operations of things. I think that is the normal state. That's what the organism wants. It wants to be there. So there is a great natural force working to keep us in the equilibrium of health. And if we make lifestyle choices that work with that force, that puts us in a very good position to enjoy health throughout life. There is a tremendous amount of research and information on the power of belief to influence responses to medical treatment, to courses of disease. The trick is that it's often not conscious belief. If you ask a person, what do they think is going to happen, and they tell you, that's coming from their conscious mind, but they may have something very different held in the unconscious that they're less aware of. I think the power of deep belief to modify biology and to influence responses to treatments and to the course of disease is vast. And there's no way to overestimate that potential. One example I can give you is wart cures. There is an unbelievable number of methods that people use to get rid of warts. And this is everything from rubbing a cut onion on the wart to going out under a particular phase of the moon and touching the wart to the ground to having the neighborhood wart healer touch the wart. These things have nothing in common except people's belief in them. But where there is great commonality is in the response, that people will often do one of these things and within 24 hours the wart falls off. That's amazing, and this is a very well known phenomenon. On the other hand, when you look at what we do to warts in conventional medicine, we burn them off or freeze them off or use a caustic chemical on them. And when we do that, in greater than 50% of the instances, the warts regrow, often in multiple clusters. So by the contrast between the belief-generated mechanism and that direct intervention is very stark. And that just hasn't been really taken very seriously in Western medicine. The wart stories are told as funny anecdotes of, things that people will do, but it's a very clear demonstration of the power of belief. And, a wart is virus-infected tissue that's abnormal, and what's happening there somehow is this triggering an immune response that rejects that tissue very instantly, and it's generated by a change in the mind, by belief. I had a very interesting patient. I wrote her up. This is a woman in her, I think when I saw her, she was in her late 40s, a native of India who was the wife of the leading cardiothoracic surgeon in Tucson. Her husband was a total non-believer in anything alternative and integrative, but he was desperate and asked if I would see her. She had a really awful case of eczema, of atopic dermatitis that had started on her hands and spread to her whole body. It disfigured her face, and it had progressed so much that by the time I saw her, she was extremely depressed. She'd cut off all social interaction. She was spending something like 18 hours a day in bed or in the bathtub, totally miserable, and was actually contemplating suicide. When I took a history from her, it seemed interesting to me that this had started when her two kids had left home for college. And she'd grown up in a extended family in India with lots of family, servants, and moving to America with her husband was a great shock, and living in a nuclear family situation. And now her husband was a workaholic who was just not there most of the time, and the kids were gone. So it seemed to me significant that was when this had started. But she'd been to a number of dermatologists, had been put on steroids topically and systemically, which would make the disease recede. But she saw as soon as she stopped these, it came back worse than before, and she knew that this was not good long-term treatment. She finally went back to India and saw a variety of homeopaths and naturopaths who gave her dietary changes and remedies. Nothing helped. And she was back in Tucson and was just miserable. So I listened to all this, and I told her that I knew she could get better. I said, I don't know how you can get better, but I'm going to give you a lot of suggestions and things you'll have to experiment with. I asked her to eliminate dairy products from her diet. I told her a few supplements to take. I taught her about the use of an herbal remedy, a plant that we have in the desert that we call chaparral or creosote bush, that you can make a tea of this and sop it on areas that are inflamed, put it in the bathtub and soak in it. And I sent her to a hypnotherapist, the one that I work with, who is a great believer in the power of mind to affect the health of the skin. It took her a while to do that last. She was afraid of going to a hypnotherapist. She thought that he was going to take over control of her mind. And it took a lot of patient explaining to her just to go try and meet him and see what he was like. She liked him, and she began working with him. Anyway, the upshot with this is 6 months later, she was completely clear of eczema. It's never returned. She came on Oprah with me. She became a poster child for integrative medicine. She's a very beautiful woman. She resumed all of her social life. And when she came on Oprah, she said that the most important thing that I did for her was that I was the only doctor she saw who told her she could get better. And in a way that makes me very sad, but this is, a common thing that I see in medicine today, that doctors are often quite pessimistic about the possibility of healing and convey that to patients. And this is often a factor that I think sabotages that possibility of belief-mediated healing, that to have a doctor tell you in one way or another that you're not going to get better. And it's quite common in medicine today. we were bombarded with messages that make us fearful about our health and our bodies, and it's very important to overcome them. And I think you need help to do that, and that's one of the reasons that Deepak and I are doing this course. Some years ago, I wrote a book on healthy aging, and when I was doing research for it, the main question that I was interested in is it necessary to get sick as we get older? We commonly see that a number of serious diseases become much more frequent after the age of 60. We call these the diseases of aging, or the age-related diseases. Big ones are cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative diseases like ALS and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, and cancer also. I think that looking over all the research that's been done, that the answer to that question is no, that it is not necessary that we get sick as we get older, and that it's possible to separate the aging process from age-related disease. So in that case, the goal of healthy aging would be to reduce the risk and delay the onset of these diseases. And that is termed compression of morbidity. It's not a term I invented, but I've been popularizing it. And morbidity has the medical meaning of sickness. So the idea is that you're trying to squeeze the time of decline and disability at the end of life into as short a period as possible. So the goal is to live long and well and then have a rapid drop off at the end. That's what I think we'd all like to do. And I think that's perfectly possible. So how do you do it? Well, how do you increase your chances of experiencing that kind of aging? I think you do it by attending to all the lifestyle factors that we know impinge on health. So that's by learning the principles of eating well, of being physically active, of handling the harmful effects of stress, attending to relationships, emotional well-being, and so forth. And by doing all that, whatever genetic potential you have, you can reduce the risk and delay the onset of these age-related diseases.
All right. Now, let's get out of here. No, that's not what I want. Excuse me. So, there's what I want. So now I'm going to stop the share. We'll come back to it for the, I think, the success portion. But I'm going to stop the video. We'll just go around the room. And if you want to share something you caught in the video, let's do that. We're going to unmute everybody. Welcome back. So Dorothy, since you're in the upper corner, can we start with you?
She's still muted.
Dorothy, are you frozen? She might be frozen. Lisa, oh, there she is. Dorothy, are you good?
Okay. I guess. I don't know. I didn't know I was frozen.
Okay.
I thought it was wonderful.
Oh, she is frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with so much of it. I really do. I feel like medicine is a practice, and they practice on everybody.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel my husband, excuse me, husband did go through puncture, and because he was unable to walk from something that happened through medicine, and going for acupuncture did help him. So there's, and of course I believe in chiropractic. I believe in supplements, and a positive attitude. I know right now, if I wasn't by my mother's side, she would stay depressed. In fact, I'm very selective about what nurses I allow to take care of her. There's two that I don't. And every time she gets them, I tell them I don't want them, because they come in with a straight face, they do what they have to do, and they don't even talk. They don't, and they're in their own little world. And so I don't want them. I want somebody who's going to come in, be upbeat, and because I think it's important to be positive. And I am very positive with them.
So you enjoyed that tonight.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
I learned so much from this, and I love that I can learn it more by sharing it with you guys. what I liked, actually, the one thing that jumped out at me is the less energy to be healthy. That's an interesting concept, but it really does make sense that if you don't have so many things wrong with you, you won't be constantly trying to take care of them, and they won't be a thought in your mind. So that jumped out at me this time. I didn't hear that before. Lisa?
The thing that I took away, and actually the whole thing, I could listen to it again and again and again and probably pick something up different out of it. But from my own personal experience, and I think that I have shared, I don't know who all I've shared with that, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 1992. And without TMI anybody, it was severe and bad and like took away my life, everything. But I reached a point to where I was at a conference and I heard somebody say that, and you know, that's the thing about mental illnesses is there is cure. There is a cure for them. It's not like, you know, something uncurable. There is treatment and there is cures for mental illnesses where you can live a full life with them. They don't disappear. They're always going to be there, but there is treatment. So the thing that I took from it was I had to choose. So a big part of that struck me is all about your mindset, because when I chose to look on the other side, and I rose up out and I've had a good life since then. Or and as compared to before I made that choice, nobody told me that what I just said, that you can get better. There is treatment. You can live a normal life. All I heard was you're going to be depressed. You're going to have to take a suitcase of medicine. You know, you're never going to be the same. Nobody told me I could be well. But the big thing I learned is that and all the other health problems that I suffered with, a big determination of how successful you are in overcoming them is your attitude about it. And when your attitude is positive, then I always just find out, what can I do? Instead of looking hopeless of, you know, I'm just stuck with this, I say, what can I do? And mindset is a big predicator on how you handle something like that, especially, you know, my journey I've had with a bipolar disorder. You know, it's a non-issue for me anymore. When I get upset or depressed, I tell Mom, well, this is just a normal person depressed or upset. It's not a Lisa going into the black pit and needed the suitcase of medicine.
Yeah.
So that's a big distinction for me. But that's what I took away from it is the mind, your mind. And then as you're mindful, you help spread that out.
Well, I'm privileged to a story that you said, and I don't know where it happened to you, but the switch that flipped for Lisa is someone made the comment in a place where she was at. You mean that if the house was on fire and you were laying in bed, you couldn't get out? And she knew she could get out. And so that was the part that made her start doing something rather than laying in bed and wanting no contact with no one. She has come full circle, and the challenge has been a real big part of that. So yeah, Lisa.
Yes, and I'll take that a step further and say the food, because I have never eaten healthy in my life. In the minute that I started with the Medifast food, my energy increased, my mood was just blown apart, just woohoo. And I wondered all those years of all that suffering I did, how much of it was really a mental health issue or a nutrition issue. And this is just my opinion, but based on the fact that I've been able to discontinue medicine and based on my health and my feelings every day, I have to say that nutrition is a big part of it, because I'm so much better now.
I agree, Lisa.
Go,
Carol.
Yeah.
Do you want to give your take?
Well, really, I agree with Dorothy though, and Lisa. Just to be positive, that makes a big difference in your life. You know.
Did you hear anything there you hadn't heard before?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you offhand.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. That's good.
go this way.
Martha, do you want to contribute, or do you feel like it?
No, I'm fine. My mindset has been so bad. I just feel that I'm not worth too much.
Oh.
Um,
Well, we love you.
I push, and I just want to help people, and I guess I'm overbearing. I had a bad week, and it's just gotten worse. So I just feel completely like I'm not worth anything, and I just can't seem to get out of that mindset.
Well, did hearing what he had to say awaken anything in you? That you can get into belief? You can move away from that place where you're at? You can get well? There's nothing wrong with you can't get well from, right? You just don't know how. We'll talk some more later.
Yeah, I just feel like
Lisa used to feel. That's
I care too much about everybody. I don't know, and I guess I push and I'm overbearing and I'm controlling and.
So am I. So am I.
Aren't we all?
I've been accused of that myself.
It won't be anymore.
Yeah, we all have, I think.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
I've got to quit. I've got to quit. Tell them I got to quit caring what happens to somebody else.
You're trying to help people.
Yeah. She is. She's all heart.
Yep.
Okay, Marsh. Thank you for that. Marsha, did you have a takeaway? Yep, you.
I'm on my tablet. I can hardly hear it because it's very distorted.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, okay, because everybody else is very distorted.
Oh, you're having a hard time hearing.
But I think it's, I agree with everything. I think it's, you have to have a positive mindset.
Oh, that's good.
Able to hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
I like that. And Dick, did you want to contribute anything?
I can't hear anybody. It's garbled.
Okay.
You hear me, Martha?
We hear you.
But, everything is good as long as it works out. You gotta try to help people.
Yeah.
Not no more.
Sometimes you don't
I'm
know.
going to try to go
Yeah.
out.
Not no more.
I have to say, Dick, you look so good from when I started coming in here to now. Clark Gable, look out, you're looking good.
Oh,
That's because he's got a good wife taking care of him.
Absolutely. You're doing an awesome job.
He does good with the dialysis board.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have something to contribute, or we move on? Okay. So I told you I did something different on the success story. And the success story is about my youngest daughter, Jennifer. And you can tell she's 6 there because she's missing a tooth. And Jennifer has been working with children with cancer for a long time. Better than 18 years at least. And Quinn and Jennifer have teamed up. Quinn is her oldest daughter. Quinn is 13. On their shirts, you'll see Talia's legacy there. I'll say a little bit more about that in a minute. This is Talia, and Talia was one of Jennifer's patients when she was first nursing. And she had Talia for 13 years. Talia and Quinn become friends. Talia actually had channels on YouTube for putting on makeup because she called her makeup her hair. And she was on the Ellen show, and she left a lot in her few little years, and her mother is trying to take it on, and Jennifer is helping her mother. But where Jennifer first started is with a little boy named Noah, and she started with Noah's Foundation. She's run 3 half marathons. That's 13 point something miles. And in this one, she had broken her toe. She literally, and this was for Noah's Foundation. Now, she has moved on from just being someone working in the children's cancer field to she took over with Talia's mother, and they have created a foundation that's called Talia, and they just got through doing a run today, and they were able to collect $6,900 and X amount of dollars. I don't remember the last amount. I was going to put it in here, forgot. But what she's been doing to train for this is getting her 13-year-old, and look how happy they look. This is on the Sundays. Every Sunday, they went out and they ran 6 miles.
Wow.
And so I thought Quinn looked so happy and everything. And I thought she must be really loving it. And we're sitting around one day, and I said to Quinn, so you like running with your mother? No, I hate it. I got a kick out of that because I really thought she loved it and she looks like that. Anyway, this is them in the morning. See Quinn right down there. How cool is it for her to be doing this and sharing this with her 13-year-old daughter? This is them at the finish line. They did it in 2 hours and 1 minute. There's Quinn still smiling, but if you ask her, she's going to tell you she hated it. So the total amount they raised was $6,651 to go to children's cancer that is so underfunded. And there's lots of kids that Jennifer has helped, not just Noah and Talia. This is Trevor, and we all just lost Trevor this past week. Lisa knows. I'm Lisa about it. St. Jude's Hospital had Jennifer and the Glam Wards, Talia's legacy, up there, and Revlon gives Jennifer a call. Jennifer asked Revlon, because Revlon sponsored Talia when she was alive, and Jennifer asked to talk to Revlon because she had now found this legacy, this Talia's legacy, and they sent her an email, says you have 5 minutes, it's going to be on such and such a date. So she wrote all her notes down, and then whenever they got on the phone, she went through them all, 2 of them, and CoverGirl told her that's no problem, any makeup you want, Revlon will provide it. And she was asking for like $5,000, and I forget what the number was, but I think they gave her like $50,000 for her foundation.
Wow.
So that guy, now she's a fundraiser for children's cancer, and St. Jude had Talia's legacy up there, and they made up over 500 kids. And this is their before and their after. That's my success story for tonight.
Great.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
I love that. Where's my Kleenexes?
Yeah, I had fun putting that together.
Very nice. Connie Dawn sent me a message that she got kicked off. But she wanted to mention that she does a lot. She was trained in doing energy work with massage, and that's part of that particular thing. And also she got out of that about the Eastern medicine. They believe that through you can physically manifest healing in your own body. And that's what, she's, of course, we all believe that, and being chiropractic and everything. So that she wanted me to pass that on.
She's so awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So any chatter we want to do here, or are we going to call it a night?
I'm going to call it a night because I still got some